Okay, this rig is one that I've called the Boa Rig. It's utilising the power core. It's actually lead free. We're going to chop off 10 inches of lead core and we're going to take out the whole length of the lead free wire. So basically all we've got is a nice spliceable braid. And what we're going to do first, we're going to splice on a little tiny ring swivel. Can be a little bit fiddly splicing, needs a little bit of practice. You're trying to get the point of the blunt end of the needle through the core of the lead core, as we've done there. And as you can see, I've got it behind the gate there. And it's a very effective way of fishing without any knots, and it never slips. And all we're going to do is put the tag end through the swivel. If it doesn't splay out, so I'm using a micro ring swivel here, so it can be a little bit fiddly, as you'll find out. You end up with a little loop, like so, and you've grabbed the tag end, like the frayed end of the power core, and you're going to pull it through, like so. And you see that? That's as simple as that. And that gives you a really strong, non-slip, knotless way of attaching a braid. So it's very, very clever. If you've never used lead core, that's the easy way of doing it. You can pull it out, cut that bit off, it will never slip through. While it's under pressure, you've got the outside pulling on the inside. So basically, that's the actual hook end done. So whatever you want to tie onto this part, you can use all sorts of different rigs. So what we're going to do now is splice on the other end, which we're going to put the ring swivel, which is going to go into your lead clip. So we're going to splice that on. If we cut that down a little bit, it's a bit too long, go the opposite way up towards the tag end from the micro ring swivel, thread it through, again get the gate open like so. It's a lot easier on this one because we're putting it onto a bigger ring, and that'll just go through. Make your little loop and then close the gate like so again, and then pull that through. Ease it through and then pull it down. And then we've got two spliced ends, no knots. Cut off the tag end. So basically what you've got is probably, I would say, about 9 inches, 8 inches of you know, lead free power core. So what we're going to do now, this is the part that makes it into why I called it the Boa Rig. I'm going to actually splice in to about halfway, just over halfway down, some number 3 pole elastic. So cut off a decent length. We're going to take the splicer needle, go from, you want it up close to where the splicing's finished up there. You want it very close to that, from the swivel end, from the lead end. And we're going to splice in now. We're going to get the needle to splice through. Like I say, this can be fiddly, especially when you're doing it at the camera. And just thread up, just gently. Don't sort of push it too. If you push it too hard, you'll end up coming out of the side of the lead core. And then just before we get to the spliced part, we're going to take that out of there. You've got both ends nearly spliced to the lead core. You're putting the needle through the ends that are spliced. Okay, so what you do now, take your pole elastic and then pull it through. Gently pulling it through, no need to rush it. And then we've got one end out, and as you can see there, that's spliced through your hook link material. And all you need to do on here, one end, a small granny knot, and they pull down really tight, the granny knots on here. So you do 3 of those, 3 little granny knots, like so. And because that pulls, you know, because it's elastic, it pulls in nice and tight, and then you chop it off. Okay, so what we're doing now is we're going to coil up. This is where what gave me the idea of calling it the Boa Rig, because we're going to just coil that little bit up, just so it's constricted. And you've got the elastic in there. Cut off the tag, and then go round and do your 3 knots again. So we've got 1, very easy to work with, pole elastic, 2, 3. Take off your tag end. And basically, you've got an elasticated rig. So if you're fishing, you know, you like your rainbows and, you know, where you need a really strong hook link material, one that won't let you down, but also gives you the added advantage of the stretch. You've only got to move it a few mil and the hook's already into the fleshy part, taking hold. They won't know what to do with that. And that's the Boa Rig. And literally on this end, you can put on whatever rig you want, whether you want a chod rig. I mean, just for show, I'll show you just, you know, a little combi rig. This is just using fluorocarbon, so if you're worried about, you know, ow, cool, that looks sharp. If you're worried about the lead core sort of being a bit alarming amongst the bottom, you'd be very surprised how well it blends in. But this is just literally, you can have a pop-up, a bottom bait rig, whatever you want. It's all about the capsule of the lead core doing the elasticated, you know, principle that's fixed on there. And as you can see, you know, that's just pulling, taking hold, and whatever way they pull that from, they're going to get an element of stretch, but you've got a mighty strong hook link to land your fish. And you might want to use braid on there. You can use whatever you want, and that basically, that is the Boa Rig. It's once you've tied a few and you know how to splice, it's quite easy. I first used this on Frimley Pit 3, and I had 2 30s and an upper 20 on an overnight session using this, proving to me that, you know, it's one of them. It did work really, really well, and it does work really, really well. So if you incorporate something like that, if you go into your big snaggy waters and you need to land the fish, that type of rig will help you. It will help you do that.